Hello, everyone out there. This is the Political Brown Kid with a not so political topic for today. And that topic really is kind of piggybacking on female male relationships, particularly looking at black female, black male relationships, or in the lack thereof, the deterioration of it actually. And the question that I want to answer today, or give my position on, or just theory on, is why is it kind of deteriorating? Besides I've given, if you go back and look at a few videos, you'll see that I pose a lot of things out there. I think that past experience from individuals are leading people away from, black on black love, black on black relationships. But I want to focus on a few things in this video right here, or this podcast. And the two things that I want to talk about is the reason why black relationships are not occurring and they're becoming less and less frequent. And now you see black women revolting against black men. They're the ones who are giving up, and they're actually out there soliciting themselves to white men, going online saying, hey, where the white man at? I want me a white man. Again, like I told y'all before, black people love to make public service announcements denouncing their own people. No other race does this. We're the only ones that do it. We're the only ones that have to go online and tell millions of people, I hate black women. I hate black men. I'm done with black people. We're the only ones who do this. And, I'm not doing it right now. I'm trying to solve a problem, because I know a few people out there, you get testy and you want to say, well, you're doing it. No, I'm not. I'm actually trying to solve a problem. But the issue here is this, getting back on topic so I can keep this video short. There are several things working here. One is the media, and the other is the perception of one another in relation to the perception of others. So first, let's start with the media. And I've been doing a lot of series on this, and you can definitely check out my Hollywood in black and white. It breaks down how the media is continually pushing negative energy towards black relationships. It's not showing black men in healthy, loving relationships with black women, particularly in big budget movies. It's showing a lot of antagonism between black men and black women, or they're just showing them not even interacting anymore. And they're just showing black men with white women, which you're seeing rarer. You don't even really see that. Those are like the secondary characters in movies. When you start watching these movies, those are like the backdrop characters, the support characters, and you see them, they are very limited. But it's still an image nonetheless, that they'll show you black men with white women, but the primary image that they're showing you is black women with white men, and they put those in the prominent roles. They're even showing you young black girls with white men, meaning their fathers. If you ever seen the show The Last of Us, it starts out season 1, episode 1. I guess the guy's name is Pedro Pascal, or whatever his name is, the lead character. He has a black daughter. And so they're showing you that black women belong with white men. If you ever watched the show Your Honor, Carmine Jogo, she's famous for it. She plays bedwenches in every show that she's in, her and Halle Berry. White Hollywood has taken them to and turned them into white women pretty much. And they particularly do it with light-skinned black women, and pair light-skinned black women with finer hair. When I say finer, I mean kind of thinner hair, not as curly. And they're pairing them up so they can be like, well, she's not really black. And that's their justification, because again, too, they're trying to redefine blackness. If you all aren't paying attention to this, they're trying to create a third category, which is the multiracial person. They're trying to get those people to not identify as being black. They're trying to get them to identify as being this ambiguous thing, which they're doing. And they're trying to also realign them with white people, just like they're trying to put Asians in the Caucasian bucket, and they're trying to put Indians, as dark as they are, or a lot of them are, in the Caucasian bucket as well. So that's the one thing. The media is just showing you these images, and not just in movies. You look online, you see there's a lot of women. There's some women out there that have channels promoting interracial relationships and denouncing black men and getting with white men. They're even saying aborting black male babies if they find out the baby is going to be a male. These videos are becoming prominent online about defecting from dating your own. And on the flip side of that, you have other images of black males, particularly in the athletic and entertainment world. They're dating white women, and they exclusively are dating white women. Kanye West, after college dropout, he can't seem to find his way back to a black woman. And you look at all of these famous entertainers, those are the images. And you know, I hear some of these guys in the manosphere and red pill community or passport bros or whatever you want to call them, they keep saying, well, though there's only a small population of black people that do that. Even Kevin Samuels even said that. A small population of black men date outside their race. That may be true, but that's not what people see. Optics are very important. And when you're looking at television and when you're seeing these people in the media, what you see becomes the norm. It becomes the majority. That's why I say that the media is very important. But the second factor in the lack of black on black love is black people just don't find each other attractive anymore. We're not attractive to one another, no matter what the conditions are. And that's because when you continually live in a predominantly Hellenistic European world, the European standard of beauty becomes the norm. And that's another thing I disagreed with Kevin Samuels about, because I heard him give that debate. There is a standard, and people have adopted the European standard. And when you start talking phenotypically, which is also another misconception, because people tend to associate big nose, big lips with Africans. And they have to say, you know, if you don't, but Africans, or really can't just say African, well, you can say Africans because that's the whole of the continent of Africa. And that includes Egypt, which people, again, they want to try to exclude from. Again, these are white people tricks. I'm telling you, white people play a lot of tricks with y'all. So what they try to do is they try to make y'all say, well, the sub-Saharan Africans, the Africans from, you know, from East Africa or from either South Africa and these parts of Central Africa, those are the Africans, you know, and they try to say, well, the Ethiopians and, you know, or definitely the Egyptians, they're not Africans. They try to feed you this type of stuff. But again, when you look at black people we are probably the most diverse genetic people on planet Earth. You can't just say that black people have broad noses, because you can look at certain regions of Africa. Again, like I'll say, you're looking at Kemet, or, you know, the Egyptian area. You're looking at Ethiopia, Somalia, and so forth. That may not be true. And you're looking at even Kenya. That's not true. So, and even with hair types, the hair types are diverse in Africa as well. So so they automatically want to assume that, you know, Africa, in order to be African or black, you have to have kinky hair, and you have to have this type of skin tone, and you have to have this type of nose. Thus came along the brown paper bag and the comb test, you know, during post-slavery times when black people were freed. These are the reasons why. And so to this day, when you start looking at black people today, we have become so immersed in living in a European world, in a Hellenistic world. Your standard of beauty has shifted and has been adopted where, you know, you're looking, and the norm for you is seeing people with thinner noses. That's what you've been hearing. That's the images that have been subconsciously projected upon you, as well as consciously pushed towards you. Because they'll even tell you, some news people that have talks and discussions, and they'll say, well, you know, scientists have done studies, and the features that are determined beautiful is you have to have this type of symmetry, this type of nose, this type of this, and they'll feed you this. And black people don't check off any of those boxes, or at least traditional black people. And the reason why I say traditional black people is because we've been living in America so long, and you've had a lot of dilution occurring within blacks for so long. You look at it, blacks are getting lighter and lighter and lighter. You look at the NBA, you look at the NFL, your athletes are becoming lighter and lighter and lighter. They just are, because of the intermingling that is occurring. So when you start seeing this as the norm, and for black females, they're looking at it and saying, that's the type of guy I want. You know, he's black, but he has the curly hair, or he has the finer hair, and he has the thinner nose. And he also has the lighter skin. And black guys are saying the same thing in regards to black women. They're looking at it, they don't want the traditional, or they're not looking at the traditional black woman. They're looking at her with a thinner nose, lighter skin, and straighter hair. And that's what we have become conditioned to do to one another. And that's what we are doing to one another. We're setting preferences where, if you look at blacks too, and I'm going to say this, the three features that black people still have not accepted, or have now rejected and has never been accepted in European society, is the wide nostrils, the wide or broad nose, the kinkier hair, curlier hair, and the darker skin tone. Now, I will say this in terms of skin tone. Skin tone, there is exceptions to skin tone. But those are the three features that really haven't been accepted. When you look at it, black people have now embraced their lips. Because why? Because white people have embraced the lips. Black people, I'm telling you, that's why I say that we have a perceived inferiority with us. We allow white people to dictate society, and we follow along. We set no trends. We have been habitual followers ever since we've encountered white people. So once white people accepted thick lips, and once white women started getting lip injections, now you see that there has been no problems with embracing the lips. There's been no problems with embracing the high buttocks, because it's in style. The only things that really haven't been in style are the dark skin, the broad nose, and the kinky hair. Those are the three things that you see that have never been, or have not been accepted yet. And those are the things that we shun. So when people looking for dating mates, and that's why I was going to say, in terms of skin tone, you can be a very dark skinned black person. For example, Lance Gross, I'll use him as an example. And the girl that played in 12 Years a Slave, I forgot her name, hard to pronounce, at least for me, do apologize about that. But when you look at those two dark-skinned individuals, the difference is they have European, or they have at least acceptable nostrils. They have those acceptable nostrils. They don't have wide noses. Neither one of them do. They still have the kinky hair though, but they can wear their hairstyles a little bit differently. But even for black men don't have a lot of pushback with their hair as opposed to black women, because it's viewed as a standard that women are supposed to have long hair. For men, the hair really isn't a factor as much, because men always keep their hair cut short anyway. I shouldn't say all men, but that is the standard, and people have kind of accepted that. So, but those are the three features that we hate about ourselves. So you're not seeing black women run after these black men, because now it's like the cultures have blended. You see a lot of white people in hip hop. They've adopted some of our culture. They've adopted some of our music. They've adopted our lifestyle. And so the cultures have intermingled. So now black women are like, well, this guy right here, this white guy, he's into my culture. He culturally dresses like us. He cuts his hair short. He wears a little short Caesar. He wears a little short goatee with the beard. He throws on his little baseball cap, and he wears his little, hip hop gear, so to speak. Or he dresses appropriately a part of the culture. Or maybe it's just that he doesn't even dress a part of the culture. It's just we've blended as a society so much that it really doesn't matter, especially once you get older into your 40s, your late 30s and 40s and so forth, that it becomes acceptable of what you wear. And they're not looking at that as much. It's just a part of, can I tolerate this person? And now you have this white guy, he has the light skin, he has the straighter, finer hair, and he has the thinner nose. And then also another thing too, he has the thinner build. You know, black males and black females, we are thicker builds. And that's not by nature, because when you look at Kenyans and people in Africa or groups like that, they're not like that. That is a part of diet, and I'm going to do a topic on that and give you my supposition on how we have gotten so heavy and thick here in America and why that is so. And definitely check for that, because it's going to be a good discussion, or I'm going to fill you in on some things and you can provide your input. But again, too, that's the other factor. Women are like, he's thinner, he's more athletically built, and he has the light skin and the green eyes or the blue eyes. And the black people, you're not going to be able to compete with that. And vice versa. The black men are saying the same thing about the white women. So we don't even find each other sexually or physically appealing anymore. And prime example of that, I was watching Kevin Samuels' video. I wish I knew the name of it. I can't even find it in my history, in my YouTube history. But I was watching that video, and he was talking to a black female, and she was saying something about talking about guys and dating a particular guy. And he was like, well, why don't you just date? He was like, no. And she's an average looking woman. And when I say average, I'm not talking about bad looking, because I think most people are average, but she was attractive. I will say, at least in my personal opinion, I found her to be attractive. She wasn't she wasn't drop dead gorgeous, but she was an attractive female. And she was just asking, like, I want to find a guy and I want to date this type of guy. And he said, well, why don't you date these type of guys? And she said, I don't find them attractive. They're ugly. And she kept saying they ugly. They don't look good. And then he kept saying to her, well, why does that matter to you as a woman? You know, he's supposed to be providing. This is the man's role. This is what you should be looking for. And she's like, well, I can't have that too. I can't have that too. We don't even find the women, and I'll even say this, the women, because I think a lot is on the guys. Women, control, at least the initial, who gets their foot in the door in terms of short-term relationships, and who has those opportunities. They're not even giving black men opportunities anymore. Because again, like I said, they're viewing us as being, as Hillary Clinton said, they're viewing us as being super predators, viewing us as being not worthy and being relationships, because, we're all just going to cheat and we're going to beat them, or we're no good. And then the ones that are good, the ones that are worthy of being in relationships, they don't view you as being attractive. They just don't. Either you're heavy set, or you have darker skin, or you have a bigger nose, or you have, curly hair, or you're balding, or whatever the case may be, or it's a combination of all of those things, and they just don't want to deal with you. But on the flip side, the thing that I find funny about that is these same women will get with white men that are heavy set, or that don't dress well, or, they're not the cream of the crop in terms of being, as far as, with their white counterparts. But the beautiful, attractive black females will go there. They'll cross that route. And even similar to with the black men, you'll see a lot of black men, they'll cross over and get an average black person. Average white person, average white female. They just do. Whether she's average in looks, or whether she's average in terms of, her socioeconomic status. So I know I ran a little bit over what I wanted to. I always do, but I'm very, I like to be very detailed in what I say. But if you have any feedback in terms of this video, please provide some comments, because I definitely would love to hear them. And again, stay engaged always drop me some questions, hit me up, and have a good day. Take care and be well.